guys, it's coffee time, and it's really hot, so I'm gonna set it back down. Have you guys been... Oh, now it's not gonna do it, of course. How is it that I've been sitting on it that's made it... Now it's not going to. The entire time while I was like about to film this, my chair was like... And I was like, dude, do you need some oil? Do I need to feed you? Is that what this is? What is happening right now? My chair is so loud. People have been commenting on it for my news episodes. Like when I'm making my news episodes, people will be like, your chair sounds very squeaky. Do you know? I'm like, yes, I'm aware. I'm aware that my chair is really squeaky. That's gonna drive me nuts. That's like when you're in a chair and it creaks a little bit, but it sounds kind of like a fart, and then you desperately try to make the chair make this noise again because people are looking at you like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that she farted just now. And you're like, no, it was the chair, I swear! And you're like wiggling all over trying to get it to make the noise again. I hate that. It's the worst. Maybe not the worst. Out of things that could happen at a fancy dinner party, let's say. At a fancy dinner party, out of the things that could happen, your chair making a possible farting noise maybe is not the worst, but it's one of those ones that you really hope won't happen, and then it catches you off guard, and then you get awkward. So, yeah. But I feel like this chair always squeaks, like I'll obsess over it. I feel like this chair always starts squeaking right when I'm going to film. So like I'm kind of happy that it's not squeaking right now, but at the same time I'm like, you trolling chair. Like the second I start filming and I'm like, I'm going to talk about my squeaky chair, it's like, no, I'm good, I'm gonna go take a nap. You have fun though. I'm like, I will, chair. Are you cold enough now? Aw, yeah. So on my walk back home, and actually to work too, just like it's these really long stretches of time that I'm walking, and it's all flat. So there isn't any turns or anything like that. It's just a straight shot. And I always have those really, really long moments where somebody's walking this way and I'm walking this way. And then you kind of have to decide, like, do I try to avoid eye contact the entire time? Or do I hit like a middle ground and do I avoid eye contact until we're in more of like a normal distance between each other and then look up and be like, oh hey, didn't see you there, smile and then keep moving? Or do you be a total creepster and just stare like the entire time that you're walking? I typically don't go for the full-on creepster, although sometimes I'm tempted. Sometimes I'm like, what if I'm the person who's just waiting for the other person to do the mid-ground and be like, oh, let's make eye contact. Whoa, homie! That's what I always hope will happen, but I don't have the nerve, because what if the other person's crazy? What if I'm like staring at the other person and then when they do the mid-ground and look up, they're like, why were you looking at me? Get super upset with me. Can't do it. So typically I go for the not looking, or I do the like really intense stare right past them, like I'm looking through them, or I pull out my phone and pretend that I am texting something really, really important. I feel like there's so many jokes where the foundation of the joke is trying not to make eye contact with somebody while walking through like a hallway or something. It is way more intense when it's like an entire 3-block line. Like it just goes on forever, and you happen to glance up and see just that dot of a person way in the distance, and you're like, later I'm gonna deal with this person. Later I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that we're probably going to make eye contact and they may or may not be crazy. Like, these are the things that you have to consider way in advance. And fortunately, the area that I walk on, this is how like I don't want to deal with it I am. The area that I walk on, there's like a dirt road, and then there's the pavement area. So if I'm walking on one and I see somebody in the distance, sometimes I'll just like nonchalantly be like, oh, I need to be on this line now. Yeah. Today there was a lady behind me with a dog, and she's trying to teach the dog how to heel. So she kept the dog like really close to her side, and when the dog would try to get away, she'd say no, and she'd pull him back. And she was right behind me. Like, I kept scooting further and further to the side to let her and her dog get by. Her dog wasn't big. Like, it was like a medium-sized dog. So she's walking with the dog, and she's got her huge glasses on, like she's super hungover, and she's like hunched up on herself, and she's just going, no, no. And she's right behind me, so I was like, like just wiggling to the side, like, here you go, buddy, plenty of space so you can get by. She wouldn't go by, she wouldn't do it, she would slow down and just be right behind me. I was like, okay, you know what? So, here's this road, I'm on this one. I go, yeah, like I'm gonna go into one of the houses over here, and she was like, oh, and just like started walking super fast. I was like, you know what you could have done is just wiggled around me. That's all it would have taken. That's all that would have had to be. Yeah. It's just one of those weird, I thought it was gonna squeak. It was just one of those weird moments. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you making this more awkward for everyone involved? Maybe she's just a troll. Or maybe she's just that awkward. That dog was cute though. One of the things that I love about walking to work, see a lot of cute dogs. So many cute puppers. The big ones typically are really well trained, which is good. So like they'll just keep on walking. They won't even look at you. They're like, nah, I'm with my person, we're going on a jog, or yeah, no, I don't have time, dude, I'm gonna be taking a poop pretty quick here, so, you know, whatever. The little dogs are all about other people. They're like, hey, 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 do you want to pet me? I bet you want to pet me. We've never met, but I can tell. And you're like, oh, I do want to pet you, but I don't know if you have diseases. I've thought before, one of Kate's friends carries around little, like, sanitary wipes so that she can pet animals all the time, and then just when she's done petting the animal, she can just pull out a sanitary wipe and wipe down her hands just in case. I was like, that's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. Aminals. But yeah. I can't remember why I brought up the eye contact thing. I think because I found myself in that situation like 4 times on the way home, where I was just walking, and sometimes when I'm walking home I'll call my mom, and so I'll just be talking to my mom the entire walk home. But today my phone was dead. Like there was literally nothing for me to do. I couldn't text, I couldn't do anything, so it was just me walking like in my own head, every now and then mouthing things to myself, so I'm sure I look just as crazy. And then there would be people like far away walking towards me, and I'd be like, oh no. And every time I chose to do the like intense stare, the holding my head up, stare that way, just keep walking, just keep walking. I used to look down a lot, like I would just stare at my feet when I walked. But then I started noticing other people when they do that, and I noticed how noticeable it is. And I was like, oh man, is it that obvious when I'm being like just staring at the ground? I think a lot of people do that, but if you pay attention to people when they do it, it makes you stand out, which I think is the opposite that you want. So like, I started trying to train myself to stop doing it. I also think that it's good to make an effort to like make eye contact with people and like smile at people when you can. Like, I know that goes against everything that I just said, that I typically don't try not to make eye contact with people, but sometimes if I'm in the right mood, I'll just make eye contact with everybody on the way home and just be like, hey. I won't actually say hey, but I'll smile. In the mornings when there are dudes that like maintain like the grass areas around where I'm walking, and they refuse to talk. They refuse, but every time I see them I go, good morning, and they just go and I keep walking. But I figure, you know what, if I'm ever in a bind, if somebody's ever given me like hassling me or something, maybe they'll be the friends I didn't know I had, and be like, hey, I have all manner of weird gardening tools, don't mess with her. And I'll be like, yeah, and then we'll high five. Friendship. Anywho. Yeah. Things to consider. Things to consider in your daily life. Sorry that I didn't put up a video yesterday. I like passed out. I started the upload and passed out, but the upload apparently didn't complete. So I was like, well, that did not work. So hopefully this one will go up. I'll be awake while it's uploading, so I'll be able to be like, hey, what you doing? So we'll tackle this together like a family. But I hope you guys had a good day. And it's Tuesday, right? So tomorrow's Wednesday. Oh yeah. So I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye bye. Mwah.